Ascended Masters Podcast.
I say chase your dreams, man. Do that thing, man, that keeps you up at night. That thing that bothers you, man, that makes you trip. You can't quit thinking about it. You always, that thing, man, that you wake up in the middle of the night, you got a new idea. That's what you got to chase.
Live from the Bricks Ascended Masters Podcast. Live from the Bricks Ascended Masters Podcast. Live from the Bricks Ascended Masters Podcast. Live from the Bricks Ascended Masters. Basic. They thought we wouldn't make it, but watch how far we take it. Watch how far we take it. Take it.
Welcome back to Ascended Masters Podcast. Today, we have a very special episode for you, brothers and sisters. It is with great pleasure and with great honor that I introduce to you a brother who's one of my day ones. So therefore, he's one of my day ones. This brother, he's cut from the same cloth as me. He comes from a strong foundation, a strong family. His family and my family grew up on the same block. His family and my family is family. He's a strong brother. He went through some ups and downs, some trials and tribulations in his life, but he's on point. He's conscious. He's expanding. He's growing. He's open, and he represents power. This brother has an energy that I rarely see in young kings today, man. His energy speaks volumes. His reputation precedes itself. He's an excellent young man. He's, like I said, he's cut from that cloth. He's coming to share some wisdom with y'all, some stories with y'all. And for me, man, this is just family time, man. I was so enthused when the brother reached out to me. I was so in joy for being able to sit down with him and have his meeting. This is a brother that I saw as a young prince when he was born as an infant. I seen him in his mom's stroller as a young prince, and the same energy I saw when he was a kid is the same strength and the energy and the wisdom that I see in him now as a grown king. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce y'all to my brother and soon to be y'all brother, Nyriq. Say something for the people.
What's up, y'all? How everybody out there doing? I appreciate the introduction. I'm just here to give y'all some game, teach y'all some things about life. Not even teach y'all, just give y'all my experiences. Hopefully y'all can learn from it or take from it and implement it in your life, and it might help you get through something day for day. I'm just trying to better myself, and in my journey and bettering myself, help other people become better.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So Nyriq, man, you know, we've been having a conversation, and we actually taped the episode earlier, but unfortunately I wasn't able to record it, and we recorded a lot of jewels, man. And this is just an extension of that conversation, because even when we ended that conversation, we wanted to extend it. So this is a great opportunity to really open that door and let y'all know what we're about and what we're doing. And you know, some of the things that we discussed and some of the topics that we building on today was just about growth and development, about transitioning from street life to civilian life, growing as a man, growing as an individual, how to deal with relationships, how to see yourself in relationships, and how you interact with different people. And you know, we just want to add on to keep building on that in that vein. And Nyriq, you were saying earlier in our conversation certain aspects that molded and shaped you as a man when growing up in your situation with your family. So I would love for you to keep elaborating on that. Like, how was it growing up? Like, I know your mom's is like my sister, man, and your uncle is like my brother, and they always been strong, and they always been strong-minded and strong people in their respective realms. So how was it for you growing up with that strength and with that wisdom, and also with like infinite street smarts and street knowledge? How did that mold and shape you, and how did you maintain your own individuality growing up in that atmosphere and becoming the man you are?
Honestly, as a kid, like, the example given by my uncle, that was the main man in my life. Like, the example that he laid was like it was next to none. Like, to try to match his energy is almost impossible, honestly. Like, he an excellent man. Like, I don't feel like there's too many men out here that could do the things that he have done in life, like, and like be able to match who he is and who he has been to my family. You feel me? Like, and growing up, I actually watch him. Like, he showed me so much, like, positive and negative, like, both different, like, on both notes. Like, he showed me how to be able to survive if you have to. And he also taught me how to be a business owner, you feel me? And my mother also too, the same thing. Like, she always worked, or was a hard worker, been a hard worker her entire life. But she also indulged and did, like, partake in like the wrong things, you feel me? Like, she did things that wasn't, you know what I mean? She probably didn't have to do at that time, but she wanted to take care of the family. Like, she also learned from my uncle. Like, she older than my uncle, but my uncle was the man and he was the leader. And a lot of people in my family follow his leadership, you feel me? Like, and they did what they thought was necessary to do to be able to, there was the extended arm of him, you feel me? And growing up and watching that and implementing it into my life, like, at first I was kind of lost, like, until I went to prison, for real, honestly, because I was trying to be something that I wasn't. Like, I could say, like, I was always showed it, but I was taught to do the right thing. So I knew the difference. But I always told myself that I had to do this because this is what I seen. But I worked before going to jail. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, I was doing a bunch of things that I didn't have to do. So it kind of made me lost for a certain amount of time. Like, it had me, like confused. I could say confused because the lifestyles, like, the way that the lifestyles was, it was deep, and the knowledge and wisdom, like, the strength, knowing that I gotta one day be this strong for my family. Like, I'm gonna have to be this person to step up and be the person to provide, and I'm gonna have to be my uncle. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, and my time has came now. You feel me? Like, I'm stepping into the role, but like, it was a lot. It was a lot.
That's one of the things. Like me and your uncle, we grew up together. It was a certain point in my life where we was together every day for years, and I saw him make a lot of sacrifices for his family. That was one of the things that was consistent, right? In his approach to life was always taking care of his family and being that strong man, because he lost his father early, and his father was that. His father's family was that. He came from that cloth, right? So it was only natural for him to step in that role and handle it. And I always respected him for that, because he not was just, you know, maybe an uncle to you. He was a father figure for the whole family. Even to me in certain aspects, right? You know what I mean? We both had to father each other sometimes. Like, we had that type of respect for each other where, like, he could check me. You know what I mean? And I could check him, and probably nobody else could get that. You know what I mean? But it was a level of respect, even if he didn't agree with the check. You know what I mean? It was always a level of respect, and he would reflect on it, or vice versa. If it was me, I would go back and reflect on it, and we'd work it out. You know what I mean?
He is the best teacher I ever had in my life. Like, still to this day, when I reflect and I look back, I'm still learning things that he taught me when I was 7, 8 years old. Like, when I look back and I sit and I actually get the time to reflect and think about things like that's going on current day in my life and my little issues and problems, like, he's still helping me get through it. Like, from things that he told me when I was 7, 8 years old. Like he definitely laid a crazy foundation. He taught my entire family how to be men. I feel like every man in my family is the same. Like, we all come from that cloth, how you said, like, we cut from a different cloth. Everybody is molded to be able to take care of their mothers and take care of their loved ones. If a cousin or a friend or anybody needed, all we know how to do is to be there, because that's all that we seen. We grow up seeing genuineness, like, people who really, like, they there. They there because they feel, not because they have to, because they want to.
Indeed. And you know, like we was saying, like to give y'all a foundation of where we coming from, right? Like we grew up on 14th Street in between Madison and Avon in Newark, New Jersey, like, and coming up in the era in the 90s on that block, you had to have a certain style with you. You had to have a certain swag with you. You had to have a certain strength with you in order to survive in that neighborhood. Because this is the Avon neighborhood. This is the South Ward of Newark. And during that time, there's a lot of positive going on, but there was a lot of negative going on too. Sometimes we got caught up in the negative. We always was striving to do something better for ourselves and our family, but due to certain circumstances of surviving, we got caught up in the negative aspect of it too. But we learned the way to traverse through that and come out at least with a greater understanding to better ourselves and try to better our community and our family and the people around us. And as we were saying earlier, like, you might not have grew up directly on that block, but the essence of that block is in your DNA. The essence of those lessons that your moms learned, your uncle learned, you know what I mean? Even your grandmother. Like, we all passed through them same areas based off of the strength of our families, right? And that carries on through generation through generation. And we was the type that when you the same age as my son, y'all cousins, so we extended family, right? And the things that, the trials and tribulations that we went through coming up when y'all was born, we wanted something different for y'all. We wanted to break those family curses, right? We wanted to instill the lessons into y'all that we was getting late, so y'all can get it early. You know what I'm saying? And y'all took to it, man. You know what I mean? I know I'm proud of y'all. I know your family is proud of y'all. And despite the ups and downs and the bumps in the road in life, y'all come back to that essence. So in a sense, it's like the prodigal son for me, right? It's like to see y'all go y'all own way, because I was on the periphery of your life, right? I didn't see every detail, but I heard certain things. I was around. I'm close to the family, so I seen your growth and development from afar, from the peripheral. But I always seen what I saw in you as a baby, as a young kid. That same strength, that same determination, that same wisdom, that same humbleness, but also there's a certain thing that we got from growing up, when we don't take no mess from nobody. You know what I mean? For lack of a better word. We won't tolerate nothing less than what we given. You know what I mean? So I see that in y'all, man, and I salute that, man. And I would love for you to tell us, you know, how was it growing up in a household, branching off on your own, you know what I mean, out into society, school, streets, whatever it may be, and how your life transitioned from just the point of coming out the house and, you know, coming from a strong single parent home where your uncle was holding you down, and knowing that you got family and knowing that you got people around you that can provide that strength for you, but also knowing that you got to be your own man and find your own path. How was that coming out the house, coming into your own?
It was definitely a journey. I could definitely say that it was a journey. It wasn't a great journey at that, but it was definitely a journey that I learned from. Like, my mother, super strong, like super independent, and she don't really want the help if it ain't being given voluntarily. If it's to be begged for or something like that, she not going for that. So I had to come up. She had to be the mother and the father within the household. Like, we ended up moving to PA when I was about 6, 7 years old. So I was removed from Newark. You feel me? My uncle, he still was here. Like, my father figure, he still was here. He was in Newark. So it was from a distance. Like, I was always coming out here, and that's when I was learning them valuable lessons from him. Like, he was teaching me life, how to navigate through life. You feel me? But I was living a whole different lifestyle in PA. You feel me? Like, I was going to school. You feel me? Like, I was always I always got in trouble in school, even when things was good, before everything went left, like, as far as my mom going to jail and stuff like that. Before certain things transpired in my life, like, I always got in trouble. Like, I I always wanted to do what I wanted to do. Like, I guess you could say I was hard-headed. You feel me? Like, I ain't really want to listen to nobody. I wanted to do what I wanted to do because I was always taught, that shit was instilled in me. Don't be no follower. Be who you are, don't you mean? Like, so I had a problem with authority. Like, I ain't really want to listen to somebody telling me, yo, you do this, you do that. Like, no, I'm going to do what I want to do. And that shit led to trouble. Like, it got me in a lot of trouble over the years. But my mother, like, she got locked up 3 days before my 9th birthday. Before I turned 9 years old, 3 days before my 9th birthday. And that was kind of a transition to a whole nother lifestyle. It was when everything changed in life for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was when kind of I stopped being a little boy and started kind of like coming into manhood, as far as recognizing like my mom need me to be there, as far as like not as a provider or nothing like that, because she always went and got it. Like, my mother came home from jail and she was working CNA. She was making decent money and she was hustling or whatever the case may be. But when she got locked up, she came.
Your mom's always been a hustler,
yeah,
man.
when she came home, that ain't stopped. Like, she went and got minimum wage jobs, but she was working 2 jobs, and like, she struggled and grinded it out. And me and my brother still was fortunate enough to, you feel me? Like, we went through things that we went through. Like, we moved around a lot and stuff like that, but we always was together. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, it was always solidarity. Like, my mother always stood tall, and she always instilled, and she taught us lessons, you feel me? Like, she was teaching us as it went. Like, she never kept no secrets. She always kept it real with me and told me not what I wanted to hear, but the things that I needed to hear. You feel me? So, like, and my uncle also, like, he taught me when I was young, like, he know his sister and he know her ways. So he taught me to be a man at a young age, and to be able to, like, basically, like, not really question her, but like, to be able to challenge what she doing. If you feel like she doing something wrong, be able to challenge it and let it be up for discussion, and make it a conversation, to be able to help her acknowledge that what she doing might not be the best in this moment in time. You feel me? And that led to other things, and because I was the child at the end of the day, so it's a mother, as a mother should, she don't want to really hear, as far as like, I'm your parent, you're not my parent, so I'm going to tell you how life should go and the way things should be. But we grew. It helped us grow and helped us get closer over the years. You feel me? Like, we got to understand it. Me and my mother got a bond, an unbreakable bond, like an understanding that can't really be explained because of those traumas and those trials and tribulations, and the honesty that was laid down like throughout the journey. Like, my little brother also, like we've been through a lot, but it made us stronger. It made me the man that I am today. So I can't complain about, as far as like what I've been through to get here today. But it definitely wasn't an easy journey, and I wouldn't change nothing about it though. If I could go back today and change anything about it, I wouldn't change nothing, because I wouldn't be who I am. And I feel like the rest of my family feel the same way.
That's a fact, my brother. Like we were saying earlier in the conversation, right? Like, there's a certain aspect where, looking at it from the physical standpoint, whereas though our parents birthed us, right? Our mother and our father, you know what I mean? Mother gave birth to us, and they raised us, and we're theirs, right? But there's another aspect, like on the spiritual plane, where it's like you able to choose your parents, right? Like, you see the whole scheme of things, and in the spiritual plane, you like, I want to come to earth to learn this lesson, and this is the ideal parent for me to learn this lesson. That's going to help my evolution, and help my growth, and help my coming into my godhood on this planet. Because I believe, and this is just my opinion, this is my perspective on life, but I believe that we're spiritual beings having a physical experience, as opposed to us being physical beings having a spiritual experience. So the foundation is spiritual first, always been for me growing up. And same thing, man, like our mothers, man, is definitely like cut from that same cloth. Like, even though, my mother is your grandmother's age, like that's their generation, but they instill certain things. Our grandmothers instill certain things in us, and we try to instill them things in the generations that came after us. And we come from a foundation of strong women. You know what I mean? We come from a foundation of women that's fighters, man. That's warriors with the warrior spirit. And they never took no mess. They never took no slack. And they made us step up to the plate and be who we were supposed to be. And we knew we had to protect them. And that's something that I always saw in your uncle, your cousins, and your family, which is my extended family. That's what I admired in them. That strength, that resilience, and that royalty, that regalness that they carry and conduct themselves with. And I'm just proud to see that it's been extended to y'all, to y'all generation. Because to be honest with you, Nyriq, and maybe you could fill me in on this, man. Like, I'm kind of out of touch with your generation when it comes to how we put it down when we was in the streets and how y'all transitioned from what we was doing to the gang culture and things of that nature, and how that molded and shaped, y'all perspective on life. I would love to get a better understanding of that in the sense of seeing what that's about and then growing from that.
I feel like a lot of men was removed for real from households or wasn't really there 24 hours a day, you feel me? Like, to actually be there and show us the right thing to do. Like, speaking for myself, like, on the I statement tip, like, I could say, like, me personally, the reason why I did it, like, I was trying to get money at that point in time in my life. And, like, I was trying to navigate. I ain't had a hands-on, you know what I mean? Or I ain't had no old heads or nothing. Like, I was looking for guidance, for real. I was looking for somebody to show me how to lock in and get money. I had the anger and, like, the aggression and all that. I had, being a protector, I had that locked down as far as, like, I never had to really worry too much about somebody bothering me or being on that tape time with me to where I got, like, people knew I was going to stand tall and stand on 10 and be able to handle my business. But when it came to getting money, I was looking for somebody to show me, somebody to, like, help me further, you feel me, what I was doing. Like, it was nickel and dime and selling weed and shit, 15, 16 years old and shit like that. Like, you wasn't doing nothing too major. Like, we was selling weed and robbing niggas and doing a lot of it was petty little bullshit, you feel me? Like, but all them things, for real, over the years added up and it became something, you feel me, to where now it's detrimental and you gotta pay. Yeah. Like, now you're going to end up having to pay for your like the things that you've been putting out all this negative energy. Now you gotta go sit down and think about the things that you've been doing. You feel me? But the gang aspect, I feel like I was being a follower. Like, ain't no other way to put it, because being in the gang, that's exactly what you're doing. You following. You following. You following because you don't even know what it really stands for, what it's really meant for. A lot of the people who do gangbang learned that later on in life. Like me, I learned that later on. Like, I learned what Crip and Blood really meant later on in life. And it was like, that's not even, like, you feel me? Like, it's not even really, it wasn't for me. Like, what really made me take a step back from it was when I went upstate, and being up there, like, I came up there on time. And like, I came up there ready for whatever was to take place. And when I tapped in and seen what was going on up there, like, I had certain conversations with people, and I see what they standing up here talking about. Like, they talking about California. It's probably one dude, two people who actually been to California, who been to the land and know what's really going on, who tapped in, and they sitting here telling how the experience is. Like, me personally, if I haven't experienced it, I don't want to live it through your lens, because it's not my experience. Like, I don't want to learn the politics of something that I don't know nothing about. You feel me? Like, that's not going to benefit me in life. So, like, I started looking at stuff from the outside in. Like, I took a step back from them and started looking at shit from the outside in. And I looked at them like weirdos. And then I was able to identify, like, each and every one of them, it was somebody on the streets that I was a light, that I was around, that was a light. Like, I could identify so my homies. Like,
you could see the characters.
I could be like, yo, this is my man. He act like my man. This person, he act like this person. He act like this person. It was like, damn, do I really, like, it's me repeating the cycle. If I'm in jail for being a part of this shit, for you mean for being around indulging in what niggas got going on. Ain't nobody really here for me. Ain't nobody doing nothing for me. And then I come back up here. This my punishment. You feel me? Like from society. Like you feel me? Am I going to be up here walking the yard with people that I can't benefit from? People that's not going to teach me nothing. People that's not going to better me. They're not going to do nothing for me. Like no benefit is going to come from these conversations that I'm having with them. So I took a step back and just had to start reflection. Like, all right, it's time to shift and change and become who you really are. You feel me? Like just be the person who you really meant to be. Like, cause that ain't really for you. That ain't really for you. So I had to remove myself from that and just like get a different understanding on life and learn what I want, learn who I wanted to be all over again. Like who I am. I had to sit down and face myself and damn, like, what do I really want? And
that's a fact. Not to cut your wisdom, but that's a fact, Nyriq. And I just wanted to reflect on what you said, right? Because when I was younger, I remember being on a block with one of your older cousins, and we was talking about how at that time it wasn't that gang element in the streets, and we kind of saw it coming, but we didn't think it was going to have the impact that it did in our community, because we saw it on the West Coast, we saw it in the Midwest, we saw it even down south in some areas, but I think the East Coast was the last to kind of get touched with it. And in like 2 short years after that conversation, it was like the neighborhoods was flooded with it, you know what I mean? And I saw young brothers adapt this lifestyle that they fully didn't understand. I know I didn't understand it, and it wasn't for me to jump into that, because I was able to kind of stay in my lane, you know what I mean? And I was kind of respected for being who I was already, so I didn't feel like I had to be something I wasn't. And that was just on the strength of the OGs and the brothers on my block protecting me, because they saw that I had a different energy and I could possibly go into a different direction than to fall into the pitfalls that was kind of laid in front of me, right? So what I hear you saying is that you saw that in yourself when you started reflecting, just analyzing the situation and seeing who was who, and seeing that sometimes, man, these characteristics are kind of universal, right? You kind of think that everything is we individuals and this is an individualistic thing, but when you really look at it, man, like what gave me that reflection was I meditated on a block like that, right? And what I saw was the cool dudes was like the cool dudes in the suburbs. It was just, we was in the ghetto. The dudes that had the cars, they was like the white dudes in the ghetto in the suburbs who mother and father was doctors and they could pull up in high school with the Benz. This was the dude that was getting it, pulling up to the high school with the Benz. But we was trying to live that same lifestyle, right, of luxury or privilege that we was kind of lacking growing up in the city. And I seen us do certain things that wasn't the best for our community to kind of make up for what we didn't have, right? And y'all generation, I saw y'all take a little pivot and y'all went into more of a tribal kind of aspect with it. Like, we had cliques, don't get me wrong, and we did have gangs in my era, but it wasn't as tribal as it was with y'all. I'm glad to hear that you saw that it was another aspect of life beyond that. And there's a lot of strength in tribalism. There's a lot of strength in us coming together as a people, right? But what's our intent was always my question, right? Are we going to build or are we going to destroy? Because we're a powerful people, and a people made up of powerful individuals has the ability to make changes on a huge scale. Those changes don't necessarily have to be positive. It depends on what's the intent. So
hold up 1 second. I could touch on something real fast.
Absolutely.
The reason why I was able to remove myself for real is from y'all, like my uncles. You feel me? Like you and my uncles and my family, y'all never indulged. If y'all indulged in that, it would have been harder for me to remove myself from it. But when I'm reflecting and I'm looking back, like my uncle always told me when he found out that I was banging, like I was on some crip shit, he was like, bro, like, you out there, first of all, you out there doing that shit. He was like, what's up with you? Like, then he was like, all right, if you on that, like, don't be on no, you feel me? Like, don't be on no half-ass. If you on that, then all right. Like, he understood it's my life, you feel me? Like, he let me live, you feel me? And even though it was wrong, he just was like, all right, you gotta learn from your mistakes, you feel me? And when the time came to reflect and learn from what he taught me, I learned from it. I was like, damn, like none of them did it, so why would I? If this ain't what I come from, my family don't do this.
Yeah, man.
Like, they don't stand for this. Like, this not even what they stand for. They stand on principle. They real men. And we was taught to stand, like, niggas know how to stand on their own 2 feet. Like, as men, like, and not really need nobody to help guide them nowhere. You feel me? So it was like, it was easier for me to take a step back from it. Like, nah, this ain't really for me.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And that's how we came up, man. Like, I remember times, man, where, like we were saying earlier, where we was trying to get in position and it was certain elements on the block that was blocking our position. So we made our own way. Like, we had to, sometimes we had to sidestep, go around certain things, but we was always making our own way. Yeah. Whether somebody said we could do it or not, we wasn't with nobody like, okay, he said I can't, but who the fuck is he? You know what I mean? That's the kind of mentality we came with, and we got it on our own, and we had to learn certain lessons on our own. But certain lessons was instilled into us from watching what the elders was doing, right? Even if they didn't give it to us directly, because the block gave us a lot of lessons directly, but a lot of lessons it gave us indirectly when we just watched what the outcome would be. You see this dude, he in the bar every day, right? You see when he come out, he off point, he drunk. We know he a Vic, we could get him. So now we know, all right, he an easy Vic, but we know not to come outside off point like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right. So we learn from certain things like that, man, and it helped us grow and it helped us develop, and it also helped us stand on 10 and get that same thing to y'all, whether it was indirectly or directly, because we was about breaking the generational curses when it came to certain things that we went through that we saw wasn't beneficial for us, man. And we came from a block of go-getters. You know what I mean? Even, you know what I mean, the women was about it. You know what I mean? Your moms, your cousins, your aunts, they was about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, your grandma, they was about it. We all was about ours, and we stood on 10, and we looked out for each other. And if you came and you was coming with something that we wasn't about, we stood up for that, and you got pushed off. You know what I mean? We wasn't tolerating nothing that wasn't going to benefit our block. And, you know, unfortunately, it was elements in the greater society that put certain traps there in our community to have us tripped up. And some of us got caught up. A lot of us found the way to move around it or even break through them obstacles and come out at least on the other end a little bit better. Yeah. So, speaking of our past, right, there's a certain element of the past that you could dwell on, and it could hinder you if you stay in that space. But there's another aspect of reflecting on your past and being sort of detached from it, where you don't have that emotional connection with it, where you could see the lesson in it and let it go and be present in that moment. Would you mind building on how it is for you to be able to navigate, right, coming like from the lifestyle into you know what I mean, like a more mature attitude about life and navigating through the different emotions and the different perspectives you have on, I don't want to say struggle, but the trials and tribulations that you made it through.
All right, this is probably like current, like my current situation is probably like, this is probably the hardest journey that I've ever been through in my life, transitioning from prison, coming home. Like, I was forced to change. So, like, not everybody change when they go to prison and all that, but I feel like that I was forced to change because I knew better. Like, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I know that it's more out here for me. Like, it's more for me to be doing than the things that I was doing. So, like the transition, like the emotional part is probably the hardest part out of everything, like dealing with your emotions and getting in tune with your emotions as far as like understanding that not everything is going to happen overnight. Like you working day in and day out, and you working so hard, like for all these things that you manifested over the time of you being incarcerated and the change, like to come home and actually have to be that and have to do the things that you said you was going to do, kind of like as far as like family, everybody expect for you to be the same way. They like nobody's there throughout your growth, throughout your journey. Like you at one with self. Like you really growing within. Like not even the people that's around you every day within them walls know how much you grown as a person. Like it might be a few people that tap in with you that understand the ways that you grow, and they understand because you having those conversations with them. But the masses don't understand how you're growing, you feel me? And then your family don't really understand because they only getting a 15-minute conversation or probably like a 2-3 hour visit once or twice every other month, you feel what I'm saying? So nobody really understand the growth that you're going through while you're going through this process. So when you get out here, you gotta show everybody that you really was growing, that you really was changing, and just my motivation and the energy that I had to put out when I came home, I showed people from day one. Like I had a job within 3 hours of me being home from state prison after 6.5 years.
That's what's up.
You feel what I'm saying? So I showed them my first day home, like I'm not the same. Like I'm not on the same time that I was on prior to me coming. Like you feel what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna make the same mistakes. Like there's no way possible that I'm going back. Like it don't add up for me to be going back to prison I just did 6.5 years. And to come home and indulge, actually be in the streets, like, and I get temptations all the time. Like people call my phone all the time with opportunities to be able to step outside of what I got going on now, but it don't make sense. If it don't make sense to you, and sometimes I dwell on it and I consider it because, like, it be hard day for day, like, not knowing, like, you learning life all over again, kind of, sort of, like, and a different aspect. You feel what I'm saying? Like. Because you so far behind. Like mentally I'm ahead, but actually living life I'm behind. So it's a lot of life that I didn't get a chance to live, and I'm missing out on. Like it's people that's younger than me that live more life than me. You feel what I'm saying? But mentally and intellectually, like a conversation about, we can hold a conversation, and I'm way further ahead of them because of the people who I spent my time with. Like I spent a lot of my time with people who would never come home or who fighting to come home. So the things that they was instilling in me was like, they was my peers. Like my average period in prison was 47, 48 years old. Like they was my father's age. You feel what I'm saying? So they navigating me through life through their mistakes. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Like every day, like, and they even challenging me, like as far as by telling me what I'm gonna do. You gonna go out there, you gonna be right back on the same time. You coming back to jail. Like I see that shit in you. You don't got control of your emotions. Like you still be tweaking. Like you be waiting to go at somebody. You know, like the little things that they help me tighten up. And when they would say that to me, I'll go to the cell, like, and I'll lay there and be like, damn, like why they saying that? You feel me? Like, damn, you really think I'm gonna come back to jail? The next day when I see him, I'm questioning that. Damn, you really think I'm gonna go back to jail, bro? Why you said that? Nah, I said that because this, like, your emotions, like, you quick to snap, like, you make a hard left, like, as soon as you get mad, you go right there without even processing it. And then that forced me to start working on it. It forced me to start working on myself, looking within, like, damn, like, all right, that's something that I gotta change. They been there. They stuck in a position that they don't want to be in. You feel what I'm saying? So they reflecting every day on what they could have did different to be able to stay out there and have longevity doing whatever that they was doing. Yeah. And so they want me to do what's best for me, and they want me to be the best version of me.
They see the potential, brother. And one of the things that I had to learn, let me fix that mic real quick. There you go. You should be good.
That's good. That's good.
One of the things that I had to learn, and I'm still learning, this is still something that I'm still learning. I don't think you can ever fully be complete in a test, man. It's a lifelong test. It's how to balance those emotions, how to detach yourself kind of from the thought-emotion connection, right? Is a way to step back kind of from that and give yourself time to process it. before you respond and react. When I was younger, and the way we was raised, right, it was like you didn't have time to process this if it's going down in that moment. You know, if it's a situation where it's life or death, bro, we don't got time to be thinking. You know what I mean? We just responding. And we responded out of instinct because we've been in these situations before, right? So there's been many situations where violence saved us, got us out of the situation we was in. I'm not promoting that and not saying that that was the best way we could have handled it. But in that situation, that was what kind of saved us in them situations because we was growing up in a violent environment, man. To be 100 with you, man. Like we grew up on a block that went from a working class block in the 60s and the 70s with, you know, a few hustlers to, you know, in the 80s with the crack era where everybody is hustling. And the working class people that was working is now, if they not hustling because they making more money doing this than they was at their job, they addicted to the substance. So we got a war on two fronts, right? They hitting us with the drugs that's pulling the men out of the household and got them in the streets getting their hustle on. But at the same time, some of the women is getting caught up, as well as some of the men getting addicted to the substance, and they getting pulled in a different direction. So that was the era that you know what I mean, mothers and fathers and my son, that's the era we came from, the 80s, right? In the 90s, when we was coming into our manhood and womanhood, we kind of saw certain things that our parents laid down on us that we didn't want to pass that torch on to y'all, but we had our own shit with us by then. You know what I mean? So we was trying not to make the same mistakes that our parents made, but we ended up making some of our own mistakes. And in this conversation that I'm hearing from you, which is an elevated conversation, brother, that you was able to reflect on these lessons, building with some of the elders in your situation, and not only was you able to reflect and see where you coming from, you was also able to go and find out what role you playing in that, right? And how to change that trajectory. You know what I'm saying? So with that said, how was it like for you transitioning, coming from that, coming back into society, making that transition in life with this different mindset?
Like coming from prison, like you just want understanding. You trying to make everybody understand who you are now. Like, and nobody would never understand. Like I feel like that was, I don't have no regrets of when I came home. I don't got no regrets, but I feel like I wasted a lot of energy trying to prove myself to people, trying to have people understand who I am and who I became. Like that was for me. Like that's my energy. That's something that I should have kept to myself in that moment in time, because it stunted my growth in that moment in time. Like it stunted my growth because I'm so busy trying to prove something it already is. You know what I mean? Like I already became this person. They didn't get an opportunity to be able to witness me becoming this person, but I am this. You feel me? Like, and I was showing it. So my actions was speaking for itself, but I was still trying to verbalize it and show people. Like I didn't acknowledge that people seen who I was. Like my family seen it, like, and they admired it. But from me constantly pushing, and I wanted everybody to be on the same time that I was.
On the same page,
you feel what I'm saying? So, like, I thought I was actually going to come home and change everybody's mind from mindset from what it was on to my mindset, and it showed me fast that that's not what it's going to be. Like, it's not going to go this way because you haven't been here showing them. You just now coming and transitioning to be able to show them this. And like, it's definitely hard to say no to something that you know you can make easy money off, but you know that it ain't worth it. Like, it's not worth going backwards. Like, you'll lose yourself. If you do the wrong thing, it took me 6.5 years. Well, I've been home for almost 2 years now. In January, it'll make 2 years. So about 8 years. It took me about 8 years to become the man that I am today. You feel me? So I've done things in jail, you feel me, to be able to get through. You feel me? Like, hustle, like, you feel me? Like, I did things to be able to survive or whatever the case may be while I was in there and shit. But as far as doing that, like I was already in jail. Only thing y'all could do to me is put me in a hole or keep me here a little bit longer. I'm already here, so I might as well figure out what I need to figure out while I'm here.
Yeah.
You feel me? So like while I'm home though, like coming home and being on the streets and all that, it's a whole nother element to that. Like if I slip or if I make a mistake, it's back to where I just was at. You feel me? Like the time don't even match. You feel me? Like it don't match up. Like I lost all this time and I'm back in jail within 6 to 10 months or a year or 2 years, and I seen it happen. Like one of the major things like that changed me, like while being locked up, like I spent most of my time with older dudes, like learning from them. But the people who was my age, two of my closest homies, like one was my walkie and one was my cellie. They had went home and both of them got killed. Like one in 2020 and one in 2021. They went home a year apart, but they both only made it 5 months, and we had like real genuine bonds. Like you feel what I'm saying? Like one of my mans, he went to the gang unit, and he always told me and shit. Like when he went to the gang unit, I used to see him, and he used to be like, "Yo, I'm gonna hit you when I go home," like, cause he turned a 9-month bid into a 3-year bid. You feel what I'm saying? Coming there indulging and dealing with the gang and like, you mean, being on gang time. And I used to always tell him like, bro, you see me, I'm Crip nigga, but I ain't on that, bro. Like I ain't like niggas ain't even on my time. Like you feel me? And you see that they still respect my shit and all. Like you feel what I'm saying? Like, but we ain't, you feel me? Like, cause I didn't denounce myself and say no, I'm not this. Like they know it's like, you feel me? Like I acknowledge the end. I felt like I had to stand on that because this is what I chose. So now that I'm here, Ain't no and trying to denounce something. No, I gotta live with this until I get out of here, and then I could change my narrative. You feel what I'm saying? But as far as I'm here, I could change within. You gotta change within. You feel me? Like
that's wisdom, man. And I hear you. You took the wisdom from your uncle. Like if you're gonna stand on it, you gotta stand on it. Cause once you choose that path, man, people gonna test you on it. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Like me choosing righteousness, right? I got tested on it. Not just by people. Now, when you choose righteousness,
Allah's gonna test you.
Allah's gonna test you
every day.
God
Them phone calls that I told you about, those is tests.
Yes.
And even my mans and them that end up passing, they came home and ended up passing or they got killed, whatever the case may be. Like those was lessons. Like they was hard lessons, but they was lessons at the end of the day because like they taught me something. You feel me? Like it didn't go over my head. You feel what I'm saying? Like it meant a lot. Like so it changed me as far as like, damn, it could happen.
Yeah, man.
And when I came home, I had that mindset. Like you feel what I'm saying? Like, damn, two of my homies, like this just happened a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, as far as when I'm coming home. So I'm like, man, fuck that. Like whatever going on, even though I'm working and all that, I'm super on point from things that I did before I went to jail. I'm like, man, I'm super on point. Like, man, nah, like I can't move this way. I can't move this. I don't trust nobody because I seen what happened to them and how it happened to them. You feel what I'm saying? And it happened so fast. You feel me? Like they was here and it was going like shit so deep. Last year, like I think my birthday was 9 months. I was home for 9 months when my birthday came or whatever the case may be. And I cried. Like, you feel what I'm saying? I'm in the car. We going out to go eat. I'm with my mother, my brother, and we going out to go eat for my birthday and shit. And I thought about them. I'm like, damn, like, this should have accomplished me because they didn't even make it 9 months home. They didn't even get a chance to celebrate a birthday home. You feel me? And was gone. Like, you feel me? Taken away from their families or the kids because of the decisions that they chose. So that, like, and they both had talents. Like, you feel me? Like, they had other things that they were supposed to be doing. Like, you feel me? They had other journeys. But they chose, it let me know, like, if you choose the wrong thing, like, you feel me? You choose the wrong journey, like, all bad gonna come to you because this ain't what you meant to be doing. You feel what I'm saying?
Meant to do, and that shows the calling that's on you, brother, for God to line it up in a way where it's undeniable. Like it would be one thing if it was just happening to one of your brothers. But it happened to two of your brothers coming from the same situation that you getting ready to step in. So it's like you got a hand on you, brother, because it's like those were sacrifices, not just for you, for their family, for whoever knew them, but specifically for you to relay that message to be like, there's another path for me, right? For me, and And I said this earlier, right? With me, I was in them rooms, right, with the bosses on the block. I was in them rooms with the muscle and the brothers that could call a shot and be like, we taking this and this is ours and that's that. And in the midst of being in that room, I felt the energy, pardon me. And in that instant, it was like, okay, if this is your intent, you can do it.
Yeah.
And y'all gonna do it big. And your uncle was in that room with me.
Mm-hmm.
A couple other brothers you may know was in that room with me. And the other aspect was like, you could do something different and maybe even have a bigger impact without sacrificing yourself in that way. Because if you're gonna go out like this, there's a chance you're gonna lay it down or you're gonna get laid down. Either way, that's part of it. So you know that that's there, right? So for me, it was like in that moment, and I definitely want you to add on, I prayed in that moment. I don't know what came over me, but something was like, just change this trajectory for yourself right now. If you choose to stand on righteousness right now, watch what I'm gonna do for you. That's what God, in that prayer, I said, God, if you put me in a room, I'm in a room with 3-4 strong brothers who could take over this, you know what I mean, the streets. But if you put me in a room with 30 brothers that ain't on that time, that's on another time, we could take over the world.
Yeah.
And in 6 months now, I was in that room with them 30 other brothers. And the same strength and the same wisdom in that room, but these brothers don't know nothing about the streets.
Yeah, it's a different aspect.
So my thing was like, if I do this, I ain't gotta watch my back. If I do this, potentially, I ain't gotta hurt nobody to do this. If I would have did that, it's a higher chance I'm gonna have to hurt somebody or get hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what I learned was being in the room with them brothers, and we used to call them squares, you know what I mean? But being in the room with them brothers, man, they was just as thorough as the brothers I was in the streets with. And they held me down just as much. And they had hopes, dreams, and goals that they was living examples of, that things could be done a different way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That definitely helped me in my life, man.
No, most definitely though. It's bad that you gotta learn from other people's mistakes and stuff like that. Like detrimental Johns though, like shit that you ain't no coming back from. Like they done chose the wrong path and they'll never come back from that path because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. But that be on my mind every time I do think about doing something wrong. You feel what I'm saying? Like it be like, damn, like they didn't follow their journey, like what was meant for them, like and we had conversations about it. That was the crazy part. Like we done had them conversations about my man Baby Reek. Like I got him on my screensaver. I had him on my phone since I came home from jail. Like and it was like I got him on my screensaver because of the simple fact that we was in jail together, and when we was cellies, like we used to have all these conversations and we used to talk, and he used to always be like, yo, like my daughter, I ain't never been there for my daughter and shit. She almost 7 years old. He did 7 years and shit. And he was like, he got locked up as a juvenile, did 2 years, came home, ended up getting booked for the case that he was down for, ended up doing 5. You feel me? And then come home. So he come home to a 7-year-old daughter that he never got to spend time with. You feel me? And we always used to talk about it, like his mom had a trucking company down Georgia, and I used to be like, yo, go down there. Like, you feel me? Go down there, be there for your daughter, and like switch it up. Yeah. You got to, like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, cause he was a different type of, you know what I mean? He was different. Like, Baby Reek was on that, like, he had a different type of loyalty. You feel what I'm saying? Like it was embedded in him. He lost so many of his friends while he was in jail. He felt like he gotta get out there and do certain things to be able to, you feel me? Yeah. Like before he go and do what he need to do for him and himself and his family.
He felt he had to tie up some things, man.
Yeah, and
you know, sometimes, man, like it's hard, man, in that transition, like coming from a lifestyle that we comfortable with and we familiar with, no matter how dangerous and violent it is sometimes, is what we know. Yeah. And sometimes is more of a challenge to step into the unknown. Yeah. Because you don't know, like, I'm dealing with elements that I can control over here, or at least I know this devil. It's harder to sometimes deal with the devil that you don't know, as opposed to deal with the devil that you do know.
Because the people that you think you know, once you remove from something, the people that you think you no longer know. You no longer know who they is. You've been away from these people for so long that life changed day for day. Like every day life changing. So years being removed from an environment, it's a totally different environment that you showing up to. Like it's nothing is the same. So you expecting things to be the same and that you're gonna receive the same love and the same loyalty that you're giving, it ain't. You mean gotta be insane to think that. You feel what I'm saying? And it showed because of what happened. But like, you feel me? The reason why I got him on my screensaver is a reminder of I'm going to go get his daughter. Like, I'm going to go be there for his daughter. Like, whenever I get myself in position, like, that's part of my motivation day for day, is knowing that he ain't never have the chance to really be there for his daughter. And I know a lot of the dudes that's out there from his block, like, he from Philly, a lot of people that's from Philly that's on his block and that he was doing these things for ain't going to take the initiative to go be there for his daughter and let her know, like, somebody gave a fuck. Like, somebody really cared about your father. Your father was really somebody.
And he had that impact enough for me to come.
For me to come do it. And I'm a nigga that he met in jail. I'm a nigga that he didn't grow up with. But the impact that he left on my life and what he taught me, his sacrifice, his journey, like the choices that he made, the way that it impacted me, and the conversations that we had, the way that it impacted me, I'm gonna make sure that I come find you to be able to be there for you and to be able to show you that your father was a real man. Like, I don't want her to go off the stories that she going here growing up. So I feel obligated to be able to, I got to be there. Like, I have to. Like, at some point in my life, I got to show up. And that's my motivation to be able to get to where I need to be there.
That's real talk, man. That's solid right there. And it's up to us to paint the narrative that's real, especially when it comes to our brothers not being able to do it themselves. You know what I mean? I know family wise, you know what I mean, we all take losses in life, but I know, you know, some of the losses you took and your life was losses for me too. Like I know losing your Uncle C was that was hard for me because that was my brother. You know what I mean? And I saw like his day ones, and I saw your uncle in particular step up and hold that road down when his brother couldn't do it. And that's the cloth that you cut from. So it's no surprise that that's an extension of yourself that you gonna put down for your brothers, man. I saw your uncle do that, man, in his life, and that's one of the things that was consistent with him. Right, he always held it down for his family, and that's one of the many things that I respect from that brother, and he taught me a lot. One of the things that I experienced coming up was a similar story. Right, this is I went up to Toledo, Ohio, with a few brothers, man, from the hood, busting a move. Right, one of my brothers, cousin was coming home, and you know, like same thing, like you faced with that choice when you come home. Do I go this avenue or do I go that avenue? And we was out there like, let's go this avenue because we got this going on. You out here, we could do this and we can make it bigger than what it would normally be because you out here. You know, that was the play, right? And I was moving in that vein, but I also was reading books. So what I didn't know was his mother was a school teacher. So she see us come out there, I don't know him. I'm on the strength of my man. This is my man's cousin and my man's man. We all out there with a few females. And his mother saw me reading the book, and she saw what time we was on and what mood we was trying to make, because she knew where her son was coming from. And his mother said, what's going on with you, man? She said, why you hanging out with them? What are you doing out here? And I'm like, no, you know, I just came, you know what I mean? I heard a lot about his son. I wanted to meet him. These my brothers. I came out. She said, nah.
You ain't supposed to be here.
You ain't supposed to. She said, what did you read? I told her what I was reading was a book called Uncle Yaya This was a brother that was born and raised in Newark, wrote this book. It's a rare book. If I ever get my hands on it, I definitely shoot it to you. But it's a rare book, and it was just parables about life. Like he was talking about street life, how to survive through the street life, using parables about animals. But he talking about Newark street life in this book. He went down for a gas station robbery and ended up doing mad time, 14 years for a gas station robbery, right? And he wrote this book. But anyway, make a long story short, she told me then, she said, if you don't use your intelligence for you, somebody gonna use it for you. And when I came back home, I was trying to put the motion in play. And my quarterback, my connect, was like, we could do this, brother, but what's your end game? He said, you could do something else. He said, you're not like everybody else on the block. Some of these brothers is gonna be here. Pardon me. He said, me, myself, Shukran. He said, me, myself, I've been in this game 30 years. I don't know nothing else. There's nothing else for me to do. He said, I'm going to end up doing time or getting killed. And he ended up doing 20 years, right? He said, you could do something else, though. Think about the move you get ready to make, and then come back to me in a couple of days, and if you still want to do it, we'll do it. I never went back to him on that order because I knew what he was telling me, right? And to make a long story short, I chose then and there to go a different route. And I ended up in college. I told you how I got there, just off of that prayer, and God put me around some positive brothers. I'm on the college campus doing my thing. This is maybe a year in, after I'm going to school and everything. I hear somebody call my name. It's the brother from Toledo, Ohio.
In college.
In college. Same college. This brother is from Toledo, Ohio. In college in Jersey with me. And we were street dudes trying to bust a move. So I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, what is you doing out here? My mother sent me out here to get my life right. Because he had just came home from prison. Now, I would see him every once in a while. He told me what he was doing. I see him every once in a while on the college doing his thing. Then I stopped seeing him after like 3-4 months in. What happened to the brother? Now, by this time, I done made my transition from the block. So I come through every once in a while. Because I know the politics and what's going on out here. Yeah. I know it's dangerous, right? So I go through one night, and I see him out there. And I see him out there without his family, the foundation he's supposed to be out there with. This brother is from Toledo, Ohio. He look out of place out here, right? I know that. So I pull him to the side. Yo, where's such? Nah, they good. I'm all right. They got me. I'm like, yo, I just saw you on college campus, man. You're like, this ain't where you really want to be, bro. Nah, you know, man, I got to get some money sent back home. He had a son. I got pictures of him, too. Every once in a while, I go back, reflect, same thing, right? Make a long story short, I stopped seeing him on the college campus, and now I'm seeing him in the hood. And I'm like, this ain't good. So the last time I saw him, we in one of our brother's apartment, and I'm telling him how much of an influence his mother had on me when I had that conversation with her. And when I came back, after we was trying to get it bubbling, that I would have had you out here, my brother. But I saw like it wasn't working for me, so I went the college route full throttle. I think you should think about that, bro. That's why your mom sent you out here. Like, we could do something different. I gave him that same thing. He said, yo, I hear you, Quaz, yo, I'm going to get back on it. A week later, I get a call, man. The brother got killed, man. The brother he hustling with, pardon me, he got a runner out there. The young runner's a little wild boy. I had to check him a couple times, but he a wild boy. Money coming up short. OG stepped to him like, yo, I'm from Toledo, bro. I got send money home, man. Like, you can't be coming short with this. Little man had a problem with it. They get into an argument. He think this is settled. Like, next time, just make sure you come correct. We not taking no shorts. He go to sleep. Little homie shoot him in the face in his sleep. So, me seeing that and then having to go to that man's funeral with your uncle and approach his moms, knowing that he had no business out here on that vein, and his moms was the wisdom and the advice that was the
changed
nail
your
in my
life.
coffin to change me to a different trajectory. And when I saw her, I just said, you may have lost a son, but you gained one in me. And she broke down in tears, like, how could this happen, man? I sent them out here to do right. So those things, when God put those type of lessons in our life, man, it's because it's a hand on us, man. And we got a bigger purpose and a bigger calling. And he gives us those examples, man, not for us to take it in vain, for us to carry their legacy and for us to do what we need to do without getting caught up in them pitfalls, man. So
My uncle always say that, though. That's something that he always say is, everything is a decision. He was like, everything that you do is a decision. It's decisions. He always say that. He been saying this since I was a kid.
Yeah.
It's decisions that you make. Ain't nothing to it but the decision. Like, whatever decision you make, that's what you got to stand on. If you decide to do this, that's what it's going to be.
yeah. And that's it, man. Like, it's all about the right intent. It's all about making the right decisions for yourself. And it's all about aligning with that higher self in you, with that higher calling. And sometimes you gotta sit and reflect to get in tune with that, man. And from the conversation, and I salute you, Nyriq, because I hear that you've been put in situations where you had to sit back and reflect, and that's become a part of your being. You know what I mean? Because self-reflection is important, man. Like, we winding down with the episode now, man. We definitely have a lot more to talk about, and we definitely going to extend this conversation. But there's a few things I wanted to touch on, before we end the conversation. I definitely want to get your take and your perspective on what's going on in the world and what's going on in our community at large, and what you have seen, you know what I mean, in your life that either you think that can be changed in the future for us to benefit our community, or something that just motivated you and inspired you to do something bigger and better than, what the average is doing. Because I see greatness in you.
I feel like what motivated me, like, I feel like prison motivated me, honestly. Like, going to jail motivated me. Like, it made me realize that it wasn't for me. Like, damn, I ain't trying to be in here. Like, and nobody don't want to be in there. So that shit was like, man, you got to figure out something else. So it made me start, like, studying, like, getting advice from people. Like, that's when I started opening up and starting to be able to talk to people and get an understanding on things from other people. Like, I never used to want to listen to nobody, but it made me start taking heed. I feel like the new generation, like the generation that's coming up under me, need to listen. Like, nobody don't want to listen until it's too late. And, like, I always tell the young boys that I work with or whatever, like, that I be around, and I always tell them, like, you don't want them to teach you. You feel me? Like, you don't want to have to learn the hard way. You feel me? Like, you don't want to make them make you have to learn. You feel me? Like, to where, like, damn, like, change while you got a choice, rather than you don't have a choice but to change. Like, you feel what I'm saying?
Because hand is forced.
Cause when you coming back into society and all that and trying to live a normal life, it's gonna be way too much. Like, rather than right now, you could just do what you did. You could transition while you got the choice to transition. So it was my choice to change. You feel me? Like, I wanted to change. Even in there, it's still your choice. It's a choice that you got. Like, you could change or you could stay the same. Like, but I also think that, like, it wasn't a choice at the same time, but because of the way that things transpired in life, like, so much changed to where it was like, I can't. I'm a logical person. You can't come and do the same thing. So I feel like the youth should pay attention. Pay attention to the people that's out here in the community that's doing the work. They out here telling y'all this for a reason. Like, they've been through it. They done lived it. They done been there. They done been to hell and back. And they telling you, and they trying to get you to implement this, like, a honorable way of life. You feel me? Like, they want you to be honorable. They want you to stand on business. They don't, the rap songs and the little shit that's going on right now, like, the way that people talking and degrading women and degrading themselves, like, nobody don't care. Like, the value of life is at an all-time low. Nobody values life anymore, and I feel like it's messing up the community. Like, nobody ain't, like, they not seeing it. Nobody don't care. Nobody don't care no more. Like, you feel me? If you don't care about yourself, how can I expect you to care about me? You feel me? How can you care about your family, your loved ones, your kids that you're bringing into this world? Like, you don't care about what you got going on. You exposing you're exposing your entire lifestyle, negative lifestyle, social media, and allowing everybody to see the negative that you're doing. Like, I'm Muslim, so I was taught to conceal your sins. You feel what I'm saying? You conceal your sins. You don't show everybody the wrong that you're doing. You showing everybody the wrong that you're doing and promoting it to others, and it's influential. Other people seeing the things that the world is full of followers. Everybody's a follower. You feel me? Like you must first become a great follower to become a great leader. You feel what I'm saying? So
but you don't stay a follower.
Nah, you have to follow somebody for a certain extent to transition into being a leader, to be able to, you feel what I'm saying? You must get the understanding on what it takes to be a follower. Like, you mean what you looking to follow.
That what you looking to follow too, man.
You feel what I'm saying?
Go back to what we were saying with intent, man. And I like what you said. My father used to tell me when I was coming up that a smart man learns from his mistakes, but a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. So when it comes to the youth, I'm an elder, and I take that role, and I don't take that role lightly, man. I take that role with a lot of responsibility. And one of the things that we kind of got disconnected from our generation and the generations after was that respect for our elders and that just that integrity that was instilled with us and us through our grandparents, through our mothers, through our fathers, and even if we didn't have fathers there with us, through the male figures that was in our life. You know what I mean? Whether it was a cousin, an uncle, a family friend that was solid, or whatever the case may be, like, we was learned to stand on something, stand on integrity. We was told that if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. So we stood on principles that we got from the block. I was able to take them same principles and apply that to my life in college. Other brothers had to take them same principles and apply it to their life in the prison system. And from what I saw, it's not too much difference when you dealing with this the system on a whole when it comes to being black in America, right? The system is a system in a lot of ways, right? We locked outside of certain privileges that other people are privileged to have. So we got to make do with what we make do with, and we have a certain resilience from that. But what I'm seeing is a breakdown in that resilience following the trends that society is pushing. We was a people that stood on our own principles and wasn't so much as persuaded by the greater society. From my generation to y'all generation, social media became a big thing. When we was coming up, we did certain things, and you're right, when it comes to Islam, like, certain of our sins wasn't recorded. They wasn't broadcast and published to the whole world. So we did certain things in the dark, and we did that purposely. You know what I mean? It was a certain level of respect, and we understood that everything wasn't for everybody. So you had to have access. You know what I mean? You wasn't just walking up on people. You had to have access, and you had to be invited. But now it's like people put themselves out there for whatever the situation may be, and I think that breaks down our community in certain ways when we not standing on our own and we exposing ourselves to the world and they passing judgment without really understanding where we coming from. But with that said, man, I would love for you to give them any information if somebody wanted to reach out to you and extend a conversation with you. We definitely going to extend a conversation on this platform. This is just part one. It's going to be more additions to this episode as we go on and build. This is a beautiful conversation, an elevated conversation, and this is what this platform is about. This is for family, this is for elevation, this is for growth, and we about our business. So we standing on what we standing on, man, and we want to see our whole community take the torch and be the leaders in this new world that's coming. So Nyriq, if you want to get them any information before we leave on how they can reach you or contact you.
My name is Nyriq Johnson on Facebook, NYRIQ Johnson on Facebook, and it's y.m.co on Instagram.
That's what's up, man. You know where you can reach us, man. You can reach us at Ascending Masters Podcast. We on all major social media platforms, all major podcast platforms. You can catch this episode on YouTube. You can catch the shorts on all social media platforms. Love, like, subscribe, respect, big up. Watch the whole interview. Peace. We love y'all.
Ascended Masters Podcast.